That will never work. You can't publish that. Seriously? Don't. Oh my God, that's good. That's bad. You probably should find other hobbies. You ever learn how to spell? Stop. Be happy. Quit while you're Don't bother me. I've seen better. Do you really want to? And my third grade. Give it up. Welcome to Horrible Writing, the rawest, most candid, in-your-face writing show on the interwebs because none of us have time to suck. Let's do this. Hey, welcome to episode 33 of Horrible Writing, called 100-Word Day is Okay. Hey to you who are out there watching this on video. I'm going to try this again because it seemed to get at least a decent response. If you're interested in the video version of this, go ahead, go over to YouTube and just type in my name, Paul Sading, and it should pop up out there. So, hey, folks, really neat. This is going to be a quick episode. It's, these interviews or these episodes without the interviews, the ones that are just me, I'm really more about trying to share with you tidbits. I know sometimes they can get long. I think the last one was over 20 minutes. I don't want to do that to you. This time, I titled this episode as I have because I'm celebrating. Not only am I about 35% of the way done with the seriously final edit of Chasing the Demon, but I handed off my most recent version, my ready version, if you will, of my horror anthology, 12 Deaths of Christmas. I handed that off to my editor. And some of you who follow me on social media might know this, that I had a $22 bottle of beer. Yes, a single bottle, $22. I am not pretentious, but I did that on purpose. It's a great bottle of beer, as it should be for $22. But I saved that in reserve. It sat right next to me, just off screen here, actually, on my desk, throughout my entire writing of 12 Deaths. And it was a little tangible reminder of that reward that was awaiting the dedication of getting up every morning and working on that book, whether it was in the actual writing or editing 12 short stories, and then going back to them when I would get beta reader feedback and tweaking and fixing and grammaring all over it to get it ready for my editor so that I could get it ready for pre-order. So as soon as it gets back from him, I'll take a look at the damage. Once I'm close enough to go pre-order, I'll take it to pre-order. And, I'm pretty motivated anyways, but I can keep myself accountable. But it is a neat little trick that I do on top of all the other accountability that I attempt to maintain for myself, is to have that one little trick. So each time I'm writing a book, I'm 3 books written so far, but each time I have a new bottle of beer that I keep there, and once it's off to the editor, I'll open it. So, there's another book, the third book, actually there's 4 books. The last 2, the bottles of beer, I've got these things lined up on my desk. But they're still here because those things aren't ready for the editor yet. I don't get to enjoy that until, it's appropriate. For you, are you doing something like that for yourself? And maybe your goals will be different. So some of you just might want to hit a certain word count for a work of fiction. Some of you might want to just get that draft done. If I could just get a complete draft done, it would be okay. And some of you are like me. Maybe it's editing. Maybe some of you don't even do it until something is actually published. Whatever. I don't think there's a wrong answer to any of it. The wrong answer is not setting up some kind of reward system for yourself. Human motivation is like that. We crave positive reinforcement. Negative consequences don't do a whole lot of good for us. So, what are you doing for your writing? How are you positioning yourself? How are you rewarding yourself? Are those things tangible? Are they applicable? Are they realistic? Is it something that's not going to break your budget? Something that's not going to get you fighting with a dear person that you'd rather not fight with? What are you doing for you to reward yourself for this journey? That's what this real quick episode was about, was that reward system. Because once that thing went off to the editor, I needed some downtime. But those of you who listen to the show know that I say, hey, there's no such thing as a 0-word count day. I cannot have a goose egg in my word count. And I maintain that. So the day after it went off to him, I had Chasing the Demon already positioned. So I was already ready to jump into that and start finalizing that edit. But I needed a refresh. So I maintained my self-accountability, and I sat back at the computer. It was a Sunday, and I sat back at the computer, and I just knocked out a 100-word count day for that day. So in my editing process, I quadruple it. So, and then give myself a fourth of that credit when I'm editing. So instead of, when you're writing and you're typing out 400 words, it's easy to keep track of your word count. However, when you're editing, I don't give myself word count credit for every single one of those words that I edit, because not every sentence needs it. So I just take a fourth. So for example, for this day, I read about 400 words of the story that day, gave myself credit for 100 words, called it a day, and went and relaxed and enjoyed family. And I think I actually got out that day too, because it was actually nice enough of a day in the Pacific Northwest to do that. So that's what I did. But the thing is I didn't get that goose egg that's so important for me to avoid. So I filled that block. I held myself accountable by continuing to work on something and make sure that I write every single day. But at the same time, I went and I reinvested that time back into the people who I wanted to reinvest it with, my family, and spending time with them. So there are ways that you can do these types of things for yourself. You know your schedule, you know what works best for you. But do it. Be disciplined, be dedicated. Squash those excuses. Kick out that crutch, whatever that crutch is for you. Oh, I was tired. That's a bad crutch. We're all tired all the time. Look at my eyes. I've had a long couple of weeks. We're all tired. We've all got reasons to be tired. Small kids, health problems, whatever it is. The difference between people who produce and people who don't, and you can study this in any business field, is dedication, drive, discipline. The 3 Ds. You got to get up early. There's no reason to sleep in. You know when you got to get up for your day. You know when your workday starts. You know when the little kids are getting up. If you have small children, you get up that much earlier. You go to bed that much earlier if you need to. It's all about discipline. So that discipline requires a lot of sacrifice. So what are you doing to reward yourself when you've met that goal, whatever it may be? I want you to think about that. Let me know. Also, if you're a writer, head over to paulsading.com, click on the contact tab, shoot me an email. I would love to hear your pitch for what attribute, what part of your life you would actually like to talk about and be interviewed on the show, and how you can help the community. If you are a fan of this show, I ask that you do go leave a rating and review for this on your favorite podcatcher, but especially Apple Podcasts. That helps out greatly. All right. So I have to go do more work, this time on Who Killed Julie. So until episode 34, peace. This has been Horrible Writing, and hopefully after this episode, you suck less than you did at the beginning. I am Paul Sading, your host extraordinaire. You can find me over on the Twitterverse at Writing Horrible and over at paulsading.com/horrible-writing. Until next time, suck less.